I'm Zach Carruthers.
I'm Zach Davis,
I'm Tommy Ecker.
I'm Kalen King.
and this is Hyperion Access. In today's society, everyone is always busy. On average, a person forgets 4 important things. They forget or misplace something very important, like sometimes their cards, and sometimes they forget to pay their bills and stuff like that. People have too many cards and IDs in one place that is clustered and unorganized.
So what we have decided to do to solve this problem is to create an app that allows you to store multiple information. You can store cards, bills, lets you know when it's due, and you can put how much is due exactly. You can also add contacts. So kind of just like one place to add pretty much everything you need to help solve that problem. And these are just some more screenshots of what our app looks like. We also have a calculator that you can use for bills to help figure out exactly how much is due. And again, it's like all in one place, so it just makes things a lot simpler.
So for technologies, we use Xcode as an IDE. Obviously, iOS is Apple's software. And then for our database, we use Firebase, which is powered by Google. And then to deploy our app, we use TestFlight. So that's how it gets approved by Apple. And then the coding language is Swift. Some of the problems we ran into, we tried to use Storyboard during our second semester working on this project. And even though it was less code, it ended up being more difficult to connect with Firebase, so we ended up scratching it and just restarting from what we did the last semester. We had a feature we were trying to implement where we were trying to display everything all on one page. Fortunately, we didn't have enough time for this feature. However, we did come up with a solution that we think consolidates all the tabs and everything onto one page, which enhances the UI for our application.
As you can see here, we have a potential user named Sean Stone. Sean is a retail worker who has issues keeping up with his bills every month, so he needs a place to store the information so he can get to it later. He also has the need to find contact information for his clients that also include different parts of email addresses and similar things. With our application, he can use both those things together and have it all in one place. We have another user named Mary, who's a young professional, and she has issues losing her IDs. She needs those IDs for her work, so what other place to save it than our application?
And so now we're going to go into the demo. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go into an account that's already created and has sample data, just kind of showing what the app looks like if it has data already in it. And then we'll go to creating an account, so the registration process, if someone forgets a password, what happens, signing in, and then adding information, editing information. So for the first part of the demo, we are going to log into an account that has already been created. So like we said in the presentation, this will be an account that is associated with Sean Stone. So we'll just enter his login information. So as you can see, this is what the app looks like after a user logs in. It has add information, so different buttons for adding information. If they have stuff already saved, then you can just have a saved information area and you can click on if you want to view certain things. For this instance, we are going to start with looking at viewing saved cards. So as you can see, there are 2 cards already saved, a MasterCard and Visa. And if you click on, say, the MasterCard, it shows all the information associated with that card. So the card number, the first name and last name, Sean Stone, expiration date, and CVV. And then if we click on the other card, you can see that the information is different. So it shows that it'll save different information for different cards. So we're going to go back, and now we'll look at IDs. So just like cards, you can see there are 2 different entries for IDs. So if we click on the USC one, very similarly has just the ID name, first name, last name, also associated with Sean, an ID number, and an expiration date. And then if you click on work, you can see it again that it's different. So now we will look at viewing bills.
And when you look at Sean's bills, you see he has to pay 2 bills. One of them is a hospital bill that he owes $392, and it was due by July 31st later this year. And then he also has an energy bill that he has to pay $510.43, and it's due on May 30th, 2020. But he also has this calculator that can also help him with the bill. So if you click right here, let's just say he has $1,000 and he needs to subtract $561 for his hospital bill. He'll have like $439 left. And right here is where you can see his contact information.
So his contact information is saved in here, and we can view it, and you can see a separate list of his girlfriends and his brother. So he has Hannah right here that has her contact information, including her email, which she still uses Yahoo. You can go through Mary. Mary has a Gmail and a different phone number. And Mary Bryan, who has another email, and she has a different phone number. And his brother, Robert, you can see his email, and all this information is different, and it's a quick access to finding all that information in one spot.
So now we're going to go over creating a new account and adding information with a new account.
So when you create a new account, you have to make sure you log out and then exit out of the app completely. When you're going back in, this is an account associated to Hannah's, Mary's. And then once you sign up, you can see that all the information is empty because this is a new account. But we're going to log out for this because just say Mary forgot her password.
So to implement the forgot password, just click on this button that says forgot password. We know that there's an email associated with it, so we're going to type in the email address. Oops. Click the send password reset link. And then since there was an account associated with it, it says the password reset link has been sent successfully to, and it has the email name. So now we're going to go to the email, and I'm going to refresh. And you see that there's this email from no reply. So then if you click on this link, it'll let you enter new password. So I'm just going to type something here. It says password change. You can sign in with a new password. So we're going to go back here. And I'm going to enter the new password. And there we go. Let's just log back in. So as we know, there's no information saved. So now we're going to try adding information. So let's say Hannah wants to add a card. So we're just going to have the card be a Discover card. So it's Mary, Beth, enter. Say it expires of May of 2025 and CVV. All fields are filled out, so it's telling us to go to the back button and it's added. So we're gonna go back, and then we're gonna go into the view cards, and you can see that it was added, and we look at all the information, and that information is correct. Now let's say we wanna add an ID. We'll just make it be a USC ID. Use her first and last name again. Just add some numbers for the ID. And say she's graduating in a month. So we'll say it expires in May of 2022. So again, It was added, go back to view IDs, and there it is with all the information that you just added. So now we're going to go with adding contacts.
So we're gonna add in a person as her contact right now. Let's say we're gonna use Greg. And his phone number, he's gonna have an island area code. And then that's his phone number, and his email address is gonna be, so we can just use that. And once we save that contact, we can see Greg over here in the save contacts.
Let's just say Mary has to add bills she has to pay. And she has to pay her electrical bill. So let's just say she owes Black River $65 at the end of May of this year. You add that, and then once you go back over here, you'll see that all the information is still there. But let's just also say she needs to add another bill, like she has student loans, and she owes $250 by the end of June of this year. So when you go back over here, you see that all the information is correct, but let's just say that she realizes she owes $300 instead of $250. Well, you can go to edit and then click right here and change that amount so she doesn't have to re-enter it, and enter 300, and it automatically updates it to where it shows how much she owes. And also, let's just say she already paid Black River for the $65 at the end of May. She can just go ahead and delete it so she doesn't have to worry about it because she already paid it.
And so now let's say that a credit card expired and she gets a new one and it has a new expiration date. So we'll go to credit cards, discover. Let's say that it's now 2025 and she gets a new one and it's now expires in May of 2030. So you just change that and you update it, and you'll see that everything else is the same, but the expiration date changed and now it's May 30th. And the same thing can happen with ID. Oh, that's the wrong one. Let's say Mary actually decides to go to grad school at USC and she's able to use the same card, but she needs a new expiration date. So say that now she'll be graduating in 2024. So if you update that, see here, expiration date now changed from May of 2022 to May of 2024. And the same thing can be happen with if you want to edit a contact as well.
So we can just delete the contact.
Delete it, okay.
And that's basically how to use our app. You just make sure you log out, because if you don't, there is a bug in there that you can see the previous user's information if you don't exit out of the app completely, but it doesn't let you edit it or add anything to it. We tried to fix it by editing with our Firebase security rules, but we just didn't have a lot of time to fix it. But other than that, everything else works. And thank you so much for using our app and watching our demo for our app.